See that smile, folks? That is a satisfied man right there. Jim Mora, new UCLA head coach. Your first signing day here. Just tell me what it's like right now. Breathing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's we're obviously tired. It's been a long process. We got a lot of ground to catch up, a lot of ground to make up over the last 5 weeks, and so we hit it pretty hard. And I don't know if you'd say satisfied at this point. We're anxious, I think, to get these guys on the grass and start coaching them.
Yeah, the idea of this kind of being Christmas Day, and you have all these new toys now, and you get to figure out what they are in a couple months. Talk about what goes on between now and spring ball and then fall, where you get to sort of evaluate who you currently have and look towards the next class.
Yeah, today seems like maybe it's Christmas for this class, but for us, really, every day is kind of like that because we're evaluating 80-some players that are already on this roster. Yeah. And we're getting to know those guys and see what kinds of players they are and what their mindset is and how committed they are and how motivated they are to be great players. So, every day we get a chance to do that. I think for us, there's a level of excitement. We love to coach football, and we know in order to be a good football coach, you have to have good football players. And so you go and you recruit your tail off to try to get good football players in there. And then, man, you can't wait to get your hands on them and start getting on the grass, getting on the field, and molding them into the types of players that you think they can be.
Yeah. Coach, I want to get into some of the guys that you got, some of the higher profile guys that you flipped a little bit later. The first thing I want to know is, how do you deal with the defeats in recruiting? When you don't get the letter that maybe you thought you would or you hoped you would.
You keep moving, man. You don't worry about the guys you don't get. You take care of the guys you did get. And that was always our philosophy in the draft. You might have your eye on the greatest player that you've ever seen, and the team picking before you takes him off the board. Well, he's gone. Yeah. You can't worry about him. If you spend a second worrying about that guy, then you're taking time away from the energy that you need to go forward and find the next guy. So when a guy's gone, he's gone. He's somewhere else. If we play him, we'll line up and compete with him, but our eyes are always forward.
So I guess the eyes are going to start with Ellis McCarthy. I mean, all eyes are kind of on him. Number 2 rated defensive tackle in the country. Talk about bringing a guy like him in and what it was to when you first got his letter of intent, because I know it was an exciting moment.
Yeah, we were pretty excited, and we felt like we were pretty solid with Ellis the whole way through. He's got a great family. Tremendous family. He's a very trustworthy, genuine young man. Yeah. We all know he's a great football player, but I think the thing that's going to impress Bruin fans the most about Ellis McCarthy is the type of human being he is. And so when he told us, looked us in the eye and said, you know what, I want to come to UCLA, we felt good about it. We still felt, hey, we got to keep recruiting him. We got to fend off all comers, but we felt good just because I think Ellis is a man of integrity.
Well, we saw what his verbal commitment could do kind of midway through the process a little bit. Devin Fuller kind of more late in the game, but just as exciting for UCLA fans, getting the number 3 quarterback, one of the top athletes in the country. Talk about a guy like that who comes in, and do you have any kind of idea where he might end up at this point, or is it just kind of wait and see?
What position?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a quarterback.
He is for you.
Devin Fuller's a quarterback, absolutely. He reminds me of a quarterback I used to coach that's done pretty well for himself. And
decent guy.
Yeah, Devin Fuller is a quarterback, and he's a really, really fine quarterback.
Good stuff. Ishmael Adams seems so vocal in terms of his support for UCLA after he committed. And one of the things that I was really struck by is how guys who were very clear leans to other schools or even commits to other schools, once they were at UCLA, became vocal supporters. Ishmael Adams, Marcus Rios, guys like that. Talk about Ishmael Adams and what you see out of him, not just as a football player, but as a leader, because he seems to be one.
Well, he's all in. You could tell from the day he committed that he was all in because he turned his attention to, reaching out to other players that were recruiting. Not by our asking, not by our doing, but by his own. And he became a strong advocate at UCLA. And it's always great when that happens. Ishmael as a player is a very polished player. He's a guy that we think can come in and contribute right away. He was coached by Bill Riddell at Oaks Christian, who's an outstanding coach. I've known him for a long, long time. They ran things defensively that are similar to some of the things we'll do. He's a great technician. He's got excellent ball skills, and he's competitive as all get out. Yeah. And that's what I like best about this is, man, he isn't afraid to line up against anybody. He will compete.
You're talking about Oaks Christian, and you got another one today, a big one today, Jordan Payton, a pretty talented wide receiver. Talk about his process and the idea of never being out of it, because a lot of people thought he was all Washington as late as yesterday.
Well, Jordan's a fine young man. He's very, very smart. And I think Jordan's heart was probably always with UCLA. But, he's a high-profile guy, and he had a lot of people coming out at him. And he's a sensitive guy, and he doesn't like to let people down. And so sometimes when you combine all those traits, you get a guy that is, seems uncertain, and maybe one day is feeling one thing and the next day is feeling the other. And that was it with Jordan. But I think at the end of the day, Jordan followed his heart, and his heart led him to UCLA. And that's a great thing for us, and it's a great thing for him. This guy, much like Ishmael Adams out of Oaks Christian, is very, very polished. He's very competitive. He can get off the jam. He can separate down the field. He goes at high points the ball. He's outstanding at working the middle of the field, sitting down in zones. And he reminds me of some of the better players I've been able to coach in the National Football League, working those inside zones. He's big, he's physical, got a lot of great qualities.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about how, given the fact that you're a new coach and there's been so much turnover and all that kind of stuff, that really no positions are safe. You're going after it.
Yeah, I don't like to use the term, and I probably used it, but no positions are safe. I prefer to say,
everything's open.
Everything's open for competition. What it's about for us now is finding the best football players, the guys that are going to do it the way we ask them to do it, that are going to repeat their tails off, that it's important for them to win and represent UCLA and UCLA fans everywhere with dignity and pride and class and toughness and all of those things. And so, we're going to look and we're going to see and we're going to say, okay, who really is committed here? And those are the guys that are going to play.
Good stuff. Last guy I want to ask you about is Aaron Porter out of La Habra. I like his game. I like his mind frame. Just talk about him a little bit and getting linebackers in who know how to play the position.
Linebackers either have instincts or they don't have instincts.
Exactly.
And Aaron Porter has instincts. He just knows where the ball is going to go. I don't have instincts. All right? I didn't have instincts as a player. All right? He has instincts.
Wow.
And it's fun to watch a guy like that because it seems like they're just a split second ahead of everybody else and recognizing where the ball is going, and he can get there in a hurry. And when he gets there, he likes to punish people. So guys like that, you love watching him on film, especially being a defensive background guy like I am. He's been around a lot of great linebackers. You recognize that. He's got instincts. How do you define instincts? He gets there a little bit faster than everybody else.
Yeah. Good stuff. Jim Mora, give me one word for today.
Go Bruins.
Oh, there's the words.
Two
all right.
words.
There you go. Thanks so much, Coach.
All right.